Hello, my dear friends of grade 5. I hope you are all fine and doing well. Today, inshallah, we will continue with chapter 4, lesson 3. We already finished chapter 2. I'm sorry, chapter 4, lesson 2 before. So today we'll continue with chapter 4, lesson 3. As we learned in lesson 2 that the characteristics are inherited from our parents, some of the characteristics are inherited from our parents, like the hair color, the eye color, and how Grigor Mendel discovered the way the traits are passed from parents to offsprings. We also learned that some of these inherited characteristics help in adaptation or how to survive in the environment. And we learned the different types of adaptation, the physical and behavioral. You also learned that some of these life processes are instinct, which we will continue learning about. And also, Mendel's factor are now known as genes, and genes are parts of a chromosome. As you guys know, chromosomes are found inside the nucleus, and those contain the DNA code, your genetic information, how you look, how tall you are, do you have dark eyes, do you have blue eyes, are you light skinned or dark skinned? So that's basically the information that the DNA carries, or the codes the DNA carries, okay? Um, Today, we will learn about other factors that can affect the characteristics the organisms have. Some of the definitions we are learning about this time, you guys learned about it last year when you were in grade 4, but we will continue with some new information for you guys, okay? So let's start with the PowerPoint. Guys, please, if you have any questions, make sure you write them down, during watching the video. And don't forget to ask me, whether it's in the extra session or in the online session next Sunday or in the physical session if you guys attend to school. Okay, so let's start with, you guys know that many of the things you do, such as reading, writing, playing games, all of those acquires new skills or needs new skills. Okay, but some other behaviors we do actually are not learned. Okay, guys, you learned about this last year, remember? We all look different. Yes, in the shape, animals the same, but we share some things together. We share some behavior together as humans, for example. Some animals do the same, and that sometimes we are different in certain behaviors. So, an instinct, which is the first word we're learning about, is a behavior that an organism inherits. So, let's go back to PowerPoint in here. So, guys, you will find the definition in here. So, in hertz, you guys learned about this word in lesson 2. It means that it passes from the parents to the offsprings. Okay. For example, the birds, when they build their nests, this is actually an instinct thing. They do not learn it, they just know how to do it. No one told them to do it before they were born. They just, you know it. They are born with this ability. With this ability to build their nests, to take care of their youngs, it's the same actually for most of the living organisms to take care of their youngs. This is an ability they feel doing it. No one told them to do that. Also, like cats grooming themselves. Grooming means like they comb their hair and clean it. Can you guys see how their tongue has these small spike likes? Let me zoom into their tongues. Those work as combs so they can, groom their hair and also clean it. In some larger predators, but they still belong to the same family as cats, these spikes help them to taste the prey before eating it. actually. That's why if you are a cat owner, you will feel it when they lick your hands or when they are playing, you will feel this one. Okay, so now you know that some behaviors, like cats grooming themselves, birds making their nests, all of those are behaviors that are not taught to them, they do not learn it. These behaviors, whether help them in surviving, as we learned, like building shelters, caring for their youngs, finding food. We have another example for instinct behaviors like this type of bird, which we call ospreys. It looks like eagles. These type of birds build their nests away from predators to protect their young. So they just know they have to do that. No one told them to do this. They also hunt for fish instinctively. No one told them to do that. They just know that they are going to eat fish. This is something in their system. They are born with it. The skills of hunting is another thing. We'll talk about this later. But how they find food and how they hunt, how they protect their youngs, how they build their nests away from other birds so they can protect them, how they build their nests, all of those are instinct behaviors. Other examples, we'll move. Actually, this lesson contains a lot of examples, guys. It's not about the main science definitions, it's about different examples. Another example is migration, as you learned about it last year, but this time you know that those birds are migrating. So these type of birds, like the Canada geese, which is type of birds also, act like other animals that move from one place to another. Um, so moving from one place to another in the winter to find food, to find enough water, is actually an instinctive behavior. They just do it. No one told them. They inherited this from their parents. They inherited the behavior of moving from one place to another to find food and to get enough water is an instinctive behavior. Okay. Squirrels also, the cute little animals, they collect and store nuts and other seeds for the winter. They just know that winter's coming and they need to store food, they need to eat enough food so they can go into hibernation, as you guys learned last year. Um, so you already know that. So we don't have to talk a lot about hibernation. You really know that. But this behavior is, yes, instinct. They inherited from their parents. No one told them to do that. They just know they are born with this ability. They know they will do that sooner or later. Okay? Cats. Yes. Cats covering their poop or their waste or their feces is another instinct feature or another instinct behavior. Sometimes they are a little bit full, but they're cute, right? Yes, but they hide their feces in order to cover their scent so no other animals will know that there is a cat in this place. Actually, the bigger animals like predator animals, lions, cheetah, jaguars, and all these animals do not mainly hide their feces the same as cats because they are predators already. They don't have natural predators in the habit in their habitat, but cats are a little bit smaller, so they kind of scared, for other predators to smell their feces and know where they live. So this is an instinct behavior, guys. Okay, just like caring for the youngs, like feeling that they need to eat because they are hungry. All of those are instinct behaviors. Okay. Another example of behaviors that are not shared by the all members. I mean, in cats, we all know that all cats cover their feces or their wastes. It's like a shared thing between them, an instinct behavior that all cats share, all the breeds of cat. Breed here means the species, different species of cats. But some instincts are not shared by the same breed. Okay, so different breeds within a species may have slightly different instincts. For example, we have this beagles. Okay, this is a type of dog that's really famous in hunting and tracking small animals. This type of dog can do that. It's born with the ability to track smaller animals to hunt for his owners. Okay, or to bring the prey if the owner is hunting, but it cannot herd sheep, for example. So we have another type of dogs. It's the same breed, right? It's like they are different breeds. I'm sorry, they are different breeds, but I mean, they are still dogs, right? They all belong to the same family. But since they are not the same breed, which means they are not the same species, guys, they have slight difference in their instinct behaviors. So this is another type of dogs. This is called border collies, and they don't have to be taught to go around sheeps and put sheeps back to their place where they should stay, or it's just born with this ability to guide the sheep, to herd them, but it cannot hunt for rabbits, for example. It doesn't have the ability to hunt for rabbits. As you can see in here, it's going around the sheep, leading them to a certain direction so they can go back to their home, or they can just go back to the place where they should be. Okay, so now you have two types of dogs, two different breeds of dogs. One of them can hunt but cannot herd sheep. The other one cannot hunt, like cannot hunt for rabbits, but its work with the ability to round up sheep to bring them back home. Okay, so it's like they are giving orders for the sheep to move around. Okay, yes, but they still share things. So these two dog breeds have specific instincts that guide their behavior. However, neither breed needs to be taught fear, for example. Both of them are born knowing to avoid danger, just know when they are scared, when they should run. The feeling of fear is an instinct thing that they also share. So it doesn't have to be, you know, total differences between them. They could also share some instincts, but that was just an example for you guys to know that even the same family of animals, like dogs, for example, they could have different instincts. Okay, as a human, you were able to eat and sleep, right? When you needed to. That's true. And you were able to communicate with your family. Here's eating. You just know you have to eat when you're hungry. This is an instinct thing. You just feel it. You know how to drink, right? Like those small cups also. Do you know how to drink? So drinking, eating is an instinctive behavior. You do not have to learn it. That's right. Okay. Crying also. Main babies cry to communicate with their parents, to tell them what they need. We cry when we feel sad. No one taught us to cry. We just do it. We know that we need to cry in certain moments when we are sad, when we want to communicate with our parents as youngs, of course, not now. We just know it. We did not learn it. No one taught us. It's an instinctive feature. Another type of behavior is learned behavior. So all the examples we just had are exactly instinctive behaviors. We do them by instinct. No one told us to do it. We just know that we will do it, okay? The other type of behaviors are the learned behaviors. Obviously, we know that not all behaviors are instinct. When a young Canada goose, for example, hatches, it learns how to hide, how to find food, how to fly by watching their parents and by practicing, like we learning how to walk, right? So you will see all of them following the parent as they grow up also. And as they are young, they learn how to fly. Most of the birds actually learn how to fly by absorbing their, I'm sorry, watching their parents do it. So they are not born with the ability to fly, guys, okay? They just learn from their parents. Okay. That also happens in other animals, like cheetah, for example. Before moving to this one, we need to know what do we mean by a learned behavior. It's a behavior an animal acquires through experience. So the animal will learn how to do this certain behavior as yes, as it moves through this experience, as it tries one more than once. Like walking, for example. We are not born with the ability to walk. We just need to learn this, and we learn this through years. It takes practice for us to walk, right, and talk and stuff like that. We'll move into other examples later. For example, we have cheetah. Cheetahs are born with the instinct to hunt, kill, and eat other animals. It's just an instinct. They know that they will eat, they will kill for that because they need to hunt, right? But, you know, they don't have the skills to help them. Okay, so cheetahs must learn hunting skills from their parents or from the adults. They must have experiences that teach them the best ways to track and hunt and kill. A young cheetah needs both the instinct to hunt and the experience to develop hunting. So in this case, it, yes, combines between the two types of behaviors. They have the instinct already, they are born with it. They know that they will hunt, they will eat because they need to survive, but they don't have the hunting skills. So they learn from their parents. Okay. In here, we have small cheetahs hunting for prey. So they learn that, by practicing it. And that's what we mean by learned behavior. A behavior an animal acquires through the experience. The same as walking. You were born with the instinct to cry, right? Um, but you also learn to change your sound while crying. That's why mommies or parents generally can feel what the baby needs by how high or low the crying is. Another thing you learned was walking, right? We're not born with the ability to walk. We just learned that by watching our parents. We also learn how to talk by listening to them. You can see even animals do learn walking by watching their parents. Talking is another example for a learned behavior. We need to learn how to talk. That's why we need to listen to our parents when we are young. If a baby is raised between people that cannot talk, will not be able to talk too. The baby will not be able to talk because you need to listen to other people talking, and then you will mimic the way they talk, and then you will be able to talk the same way. Okay, except for Boss Baby, of course. He was like a boss baby, so he could talk when he was a baby. Okay? Dressing yourself is another thing you learn, right? I mean, the ancient humans did not know how to wear clothes because they did not learn to do that. With time, they learned and practiced, and now we have all the type of fashion around us. Take a bath. I mean, when you're a baby, you cannot take a bath alone. You need your parents to do that for you. And as you grow up, you learn how to get the bath by yourself and stuff, other things. Okay. Brushing your teeth. We are not born with the ability to brush our teeth. Like, if your parents did not tell you to brush your teeth, you will not. brush them because you don't know that you should do that to, protect them. Okay. Another thing that combines between instinct and learned behavior is eating. So when you feel you're hungry, you just go eating, right? That's an instinct thing. You just know that you will eat. No one taught you to eat. You know how to eat when you're hungry. But we learned the table manners, like how to eat properly, not like this little hungry girl. We learned how to, eat without our mouth open. These are the table manners. We know how to use a spoon, how to use a fork, how to use the knife. So those things are learned, okay? But eating is an instinct behavior, okay, guys? But the table manners or how to eat properly is a learned. That's right. Okay. Now let's move to another thing, which is the other behaviors that does not have to be helpful for animals. Like they don't have to be just for surviving. Okay. So some animals can learn behaviors that are helpful to people, but it's not important for the organism or the animal to survive. It does not need it for surviving. Okay. These behaviors aren't necessary for the animal's survival, but can be very useful to the animal's human companions, to the friend of the animal. And we call those animals surface animals. And those are trained to do tasks that help people with disabilities. For example, we have the guide dogs. Guide dogs help owners who can't see by leading them as the owner walk. Okay, they can help them, into moving into certain places. Of course, this is a little bit funny because this dog takes his owner every time to a store for dogs for food. But still, it's a helpful thing because the blind people, of course, cannot move on their own, especially if it's dangerous. And that's why they use dogs. I mean, imagine if they used cats. Okay. Of course, this is only an experience. This is not real. But cats, they have their own personality. Like no one can command them, no one can tell them what to do. So it will be a disaster if we use the cat as a surface animal. But I'm still a cat person. I do love cats because they have like strong personality. No one commands them to do anything. They just do what they want to do whenever they want to do. Okay. Another type of dogs, but this is another example, not the surface dogs. For example, here, the dog survived in learning thing. He learned that when this ring around his body hits something, he knows that there is something there. He will not go in this direction. And this is a blind dog, guys. He cannot see. And if he didn't have this ring around his body, he will hit a lot of things, and that will cause injuries for him. So in order to do that, it adapted with the ability of knowing that this ring is a guideline for him. It helps him moving around. Another type of dogs we call hearing dogs, and those dogs alert their owners to sounds such as ringing phones, doorbells. People with hearing disabilities that cannot hear well, if they are living alone, for example, they will never hear if the phone's ringing or the doorbell is ringing. So they need help. So the dog in here does this. The dog listens for them and alert them, tell them that they have, a phone call or someone is at the door. Another types of dogs is mobility assist dogs, and those help physically disabled people with tasks such as carrying objects or opening doors for them. So people that cannot move around and they still live alone. I mean, humans are not 24%, free to do everything. They can go to their jobs, they can sleep and do stuff like that. So some of these animals are a little bit older. I mean, they cannot surface in the military institutions. So they can, work as a retired dog. And that's really good for them in helping the physically disabled people that cannot move or have problem in moving. And here you can see the dog. He's attached to the chair the woman is using, and he's moving her around. He can bring them things, carry things for them. That will be so helpful. Opening doors, as we said. Okay. Now we'll move to the last thing in this lesson, and this part is for your own knowledge, guys. This environmental influences. How can a change in the environment affect these characteristics or affect the organism's behavior? So, if there is a change in the environment is everything around the organism. Everything it needs should be in the environment. The water, the sunlight, as in plants, the shelter, a place for him to sleep, food. Everything should be available in the environment for the organism to live in it. Okay? So if this environment changed in any way, all the things that live there are also affected. So if there is no enough water, there's no enough food for them, if it's too cold for them to survive, if it's too hot for them to survive, they will change some of their behaviors. Because some animals lose their shelter, for example, if some type of birds living on trees, and the people decided to, human beings always have the greatest effect on the environment of other organisms. And human beings decided to, build a factory in this place. So they need to cut all the trees. The organism or this animal, this type of bird, will lose its home. Okay. So he will need to move away, must to move to get the things they need. So they will change their habitat or where they live. Another change that can happen to some of these animals or some of these organisms is changing their diets, what they eat. I'm talking about humans only. We're talking also about animals. We haven't, for example, wolves usually eat deer or mountain goats. Okay, but if there aren't enough of those animals, should wolves suffer of hunger? No, they will actually learn to eat cattle and sheep. They will change their diet, okay? Because they need to adapt, they need to survive. This is the main thing in the animal's life, to survive in the environment so he can reproduce and make new offsprings. But sometimes the environment can be harsh on some animals. It can cause physical change in species over time. This frog has been, affected by maybe pollution or something that changed the chromosomes in its body. We know that chromosomes are found inside your nucleus, found inside all the living things' nucleus, and those chromosomes carry the DNA code, the genetic information, like how tall, how long is your hair, for example, or how thick it is. What is the color? The same for other animals, like how many legs they have, how many fingers they have. Actually, this is another thing we inherit from our parents. It's found in our DNA codes and the genetic information. How many fingers we have? We should have 10 fingers on both hands, or on our hands, and 10 toes, right? If we have extra ones, that means there is a change in the DNA. There's a change in the genetic information. Okay. So some pollutions can kill organisms, but others can actually change their DNA, their genetic information, like this type of animal. Can you see how many horns he's having? We know it's supposed to be two. So this is what we call mutation. You'll learn about mutation next year when you are, guys, when you are in grade 6, inshallah. You will learn about mutation, how does it happen, and also different and other different examples. Okay, so again, the change in the environment can do a lot of things. It can lead these animals to leave the place so they can find food and water and whatever they need. It can help them to change their diets, like wolves in here, they changed what they eat, and also can cause physical changes, changes in the appearance of the organism, like the frog having extra limbs or extra legs. This is not natural, right? So there is a change in its genes or genetic information. Of course, this is just for fun, guys. This is not real. But I mean, it's basically mutation, changes in everything, change in all of the chromosomes the organism carries. So, this is the end of today's lesson, guys. I hope you didn't have any problem understanding it. It's so simple. It actually contains a lot of examples. You will find the same study sheet on the SMS for you guys to recap what we explained today. You'll find all the examples we talked about. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate in sending these questions. Or if you'd like, you can wait till the extra care session or in the online session and start asking them so we can share them with your friends also. So you find here the last part, environmental influences. This is for reading only. It will not be included in the quiz or in the final term exam, but just guys try to read it for your own knowledge. Thank you guys and see you next time.